We are dealing with the end of the world that we know. Russia is more of a symptom of this than a cause.
This really is the end of the world.
The end of the world we understand, yeah. We're going back to something that's a lot more similar to the world as it existed in the early 1900s. The closest would be the Black Plague. But the Chinese are going to lose a greater percentage of their population in the next 20 years than Europe did during the Black Plague.
And you think by famine?
This assumes no famine. This is just aging.
Just aging.
Yeah, if you have an energy breakdown or a food breakdown, it happens a lot faster.
And they have energy issues and they have food issues.
They are the world's largest importer of energy, about 14 million barrels a day. Remember, we're a net exporter. And they are the world's largest importer of food and food inputs.
That's it?
That's as good as it's going to get, because there is no trade option out of this without the United States.
But how does China come through this, though?
They don't.
So what happens to them if they don't?
Well, I mean, this is one of the wild things and the hard parts of my job. It falls into famine. It falls into tyranny. You get hundreds of millions of people suffering from malnutrition and then ultimately dying. The coast goes one way. The interior kind of breaks off and shatters. And then the cities of the coast in the south, your Shanghai, your Fujian, your Guangzhou, your Hong Kong, they basically become independent city-states and integrate with foreign powers primarily in order to get food. With the Russians having their problems, the Russian space is the world's largest single supplier of fertilizer of all types. So we are already knee-deep in a fertilizer crisis globally. The Chinese are the last in line for all of this stuff. 90% of the calories they produce are dependent upon a foreign support system. In the United States, it's less than 10. We produce most of what we need locally, and most of the rest comes from Canada. But you interrupt the food supply chain in any meaningful way, and China is only one of a host of countries that has some very real problems. Now, China faces the biggest one in absolute terms because of the size of their population. Second, I will say there are 7 different variants circulated in Beijing right now, or in China right now. 3 of them did not exist 2 or 3 months ago. And it takes about 6 months of data for you to get